So I'm a writer, and I also like Adventures in Odyssey. So it was pretty natural for me to one day come up to my mom and ask her, say to her, sometime I would like to write a radio drama. And sometime probably wasn't ever going to come around. Because I didn't know anything about radio drama. I knew that I should write a script and get some friends to help with the voices, but really more than that, I didn't know. So it was really great when my brother found a script writing contest for for an audio drama. So I entered that as soon as possible, and I was really excited about this, but the thing I wasn't so sure about was that one of the rules of the contest said that I have to write it about creation. I'm no scientist, so I wasn't sure exactly how much of that I could do accurately. But I wanted to do it anyway, so I began to research, and since the deadline for the contest was about a month and a half away, I began to write right away. And so I learned a lot during that time. I learned about the Fibonacci numbers. They're very interesting sequence of numbers that continually come up in nature, and very interesting. And I also learned things like that the dolphin has such a good radar system that it sees with that it actually rivals United States naval technology. So once I did finish the script, I sent it in to the contest hosts, which the man who started the contest was Pat Roy, and he created the Johnathan Park radio series. So I thought that was really cool, just that that he was starting a contest like that, and that I could enter it, because the ages were from 12 to 18, so I was 12 at the time, and so I just barely fit into the age group. After I sent it in, it was about 2 weeks later that Pat Roy called me to say that I had won first place.
Wow. He personally called you?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, awesome. That's how you found out?
Yeah, I didn't have any warning before that.
That's awesome. Whoa, what a day.
So it was about a week or two later that he began to edit my script. But the really cool thing about it was that he wanted it to still be my script. And so any edits that he suggested, he actually let me do. So I could keep it basically the same way I wanted it originally with his advice.
Oh, that's cool.
Then after it was about 2 or 3 months of editing, then Pat Roy's daughter got together a group of actors who auditioned to play the parts of the characters in the audio drama. So once the auditions came in, I actually was I could actually choose who I wanted to play who.
Oh, that's very cool.
So it was really awesome even though the voices were a little bit different than, I had imagined, it was still really cool to be able to choose who I wanted to play as who. After that, then the actual recording date was about to come up. So we were preparing for that, and since the studio that they were be recording in was out in California, I couldn't come there, which is kind of a disappointment, but still really cool anyway, because later he sent me pictures of the recording day.
Oh, neat.
But before the day came, several actors actually had to call to say they couldn't make it, and so the recording date was postponed for a couple weeks later. But once it was finished, then there was about 3 or 4 months of dialogue editing and sound effects and music being added to the audio. And I hadn't listened to any of it up until then. And so once that was all incorporated, Pat Roy sent me an uncut file of the audio drama. And so when I listened to it first, I had no idea whether or not the actors were really going to sound the way I thought they would. And when I first listened to it, I was just way too excited to think about that. But actually, the actors did really well. And in some cases, they did a lot better than I had even been imagining. Yeah, so the younger actors especially, because I had several young characters in there, for not having any experience at all, they did really well. After I first heard it for the first time, Pat Roy was just putting some final edits on it, and then it was about 2 weeks before he said that it would be finally finished. But then he called us to say that there was a problem. It was kind of last minute, and all the actors not all the actors could, make it back. So he thought that we could just add like a final scene near the end that would fix the problem. Because the main character, Zach, he has some attitude issues. And Pat Roy said that when he first started doing audio drama, one of his characters had an attitude too, and the parents would send in feedback saying that they didn't want their kids to have that attitude too. And so he thought that if I would somehow put closure on this audio drama, then that would help with solving that problem. So I wrote the final part of that last scene, and I sent it to him, and Pat Roy actually played one of the main characters. So his name is Uncle Pete, and the kind of interesting thing was that he originally didn't think he was going to be a good enough actor. And so on the recording day, he also got another guy to play his part. But I wanted to use him as the actor anyway, even though his wife was really recommending that we use someone else. So when it came time to record this additional scene at the end, it was actually really good that Pat Roy was going to play Uncle Pete, because the other actor for Uncle Pete lived 150 miles away, so he couldn't come in. But as it turned out, because Pat Roy was playing that character, and the only other character that we needed in that scene lived just down the block, everything worked out. Then after that was finished, he put a little more editing into it, and then it was all done. So he sent me in the final copy, and then left it up to me to get a third-party disc manufacturing company to actually print the CDs. And so I did that, and my brother also helped out with like designing what the insert and the cover and the CD would have on them. Actually, a friend did the artwork for us, but then Max put together my brother Max put all of it together. Then this really brings us up to now. This spring I've been going to conventions and talking to several bookstores, and there's some of them are interested in that, and actually some of the people who have bought it and come back to tell me what they thought about it said that they recommended it to all their friends and that they really liked it. I do have a Facebook and Twitter thing where we have like frequent updates on this project, and a blog. So there's that things if you want to keep updated with what's happening. Yeah.
So, Robert, is this a good time to ask questions?
Yeah, I'm finished.
Okay. So, do you own all the rights to this now? Like, is this just up to you to, market it, or does Johnathan Park, or you know what I mean? Like, is this all yours? Is it copyrighted or whatever? Like, how does that all work?
Yeah. One of the great things that Pat Roy wanted to do for me was to give me like all the rights.
Oh.
So I pretty much I can do with this whatever I want to.
Wow, awesome. Very awesome. So, and you have an independent company then that will print them for you and manufacture them as much as you need them, right? You just put an order in and then you sell them.
Yeah.
And all the profit is yours.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
awesome. That's wonderful. That is so cool.
So how did your brother find like this? Did he just do like just a Google searching for audio drama? Like, how did you find the contest?
Yeah, well, he is on, he frequently visits an audio drama review website, and they posted about the contest, and then when he heard me say that I wanted to write an audio drama script, he told me that.
Oh, cool.
Okay. So how long have you been dreaming of writing an audio drama? Did that just pop into your head when you were 5 or 6, or where did you ever get that idea? I know you've always liked to write.
Yeah, actually the want to write an audio drama pretty much began that night that he told me about the contest.
Nice. Yeah.
So I've always listened to audio dramas, but it wasn't until then that I actually thought of writing one.
Yeah. Oh, that's neat.
What else do you like to write?
I like to write novels. like fantasy,
Okay.
but this has pretty much taken up all my time.
That's kind of on hold.
That's how life goes.
Everything else in your life is now on the back burner.
Cool.
That's just really exciting.
Yeah, actually, when I first sent the script into the contest, it was almost exactly 1 year ago, 369 days ago.
So it's been quite a year, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. That's just.
How many
really-
pages was the script? First one.
Yeah, the script is 12 pages, double spaced. Yeah, and it's about half hour. Yeah.
I purchased one at the TAP convention, and I just want to say, I think you did an excellent job. My whole family listened to it a few times, and they really enjoyed it, so. Great.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
What advice would you give to other kids who wanted to do something like this or had a dream to do something? Have a big brother that would give them advice.
I probably just that they should start now and start practicing now, because whenever they get that big break, they and it will come sometime, they can be ready for it. And I mean, I don't consider myself an expert, so
Cool. That's good.
It's very cool.
Do you plan to do any more?
yeah, this was like a contest, so it was a one-time thing, but I really enjoyed doing this, and it's definitely something I'd like to do in the future.
Was the contest just open to homeschoolers, or was it open to anybody, or?
Yeah, it was open for homeschoolers 12 to 18. Yeah.
Really cool.
Awesome. Definitely interested in getting one tonight, and I can't wait to go home and listen to it.
So we'll link to it.
Yeah. Cool. That's great. Anybody else have any questions? So you do have a website
Yeah.
you could go to and order. Can you order off the website?
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Okay, good, good. I would love it, Robert, if you could, I don't know how much you've thought of this, Joy, but it'd be so wonderful for him to be able to speak to other homeschool kids.
Oh,
And I
that,
hope- yeah,
do you
I hope
want to do that?
falls into place
Yes.
sometime.
He's definitely interested in that.
Yeah, because I could really
Yeah.
see, that connection of just, inspiring other kids. You can do it.
Right,
I'm living proof,
right,
you know?
right. Well, in fact, I don't know if you're familiar with Israel Wayne. He was a keynote speaker at the convention we were at
No.
this past weekend. I was not either. But he was impressed with Robert, and he said, Robert can have an audience with kids more so than an adult. And so he was really encouraging him to
Absolutely.
speak to kids, so
And I
that
think
is
it's
very much.
particularly not on kids everywhere, but also kids in our area, because I think sometimes our kids in our area discount themselves because they're like, we're from such a small area, blah, 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 nothing ever happens, and that,
Right,
this is proof that it doesn't matter where you're from,
that's right. Right.
because I've heard that before from the kids, they sort of discount
Yeah.
themselves already before they even,
Try.
before they even try.
Right, right.
Co-ops,
Yeah.
things like that would be
Mhm.
great.
Mhm.
Libraries.
Yeah, library that's going on right now.
Oh, yeah,
True,
that's a good
that's
idea.
true. Right, we didn't think about that.
I know, that's a good
Yeah, it could be homeschoolers and just,
Yeah.
any
Right, sure.
child, really.
Hmm.
See, we'll
Awesome.
keep you traveling.
Yeah.
Keep your mom busy.
Be an agent, isn't that your
Yeah.
agent, does he book things for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like he's kind of filling that role over there
Yes,
for you.
he
That's
is.
kind of neat.
I think he's a little proud, huh?
Yeah, he really
Yeah.
likes that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
that's neat.
yes,
That's cool.
yeah.
All right, well, thank you, Robert. Thank you so much. We really are excited about seeing how things develop, in the
Yeah, I'm gonna have
Years
to
to
look
come.
you up on Facebook. I'd like to follow you and see how it goes, and
Mm.
see where it goes from there. That's awesome.
Mm.
absolutely.
Yeah, actually, there's a flyer here, just like with our website and stuff, so you can remember that.
Perfect, good, because I don't think
Perfect.
that's
Yeah. And if you want to sign up for the newsletter, we can pass a piece of paper around. We forgot to do something other than that, so we can pass a piece of paper around.
Okay, cool. That
You can
sounds
put your
great.
email address
I'll
on.
actually take one right now while I'm thinking of it, and I have the cash, so
I would love to take one home with me tonight.